It is unequivocal that human activities are responsible for climate change. That's the finding of a new study by the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. It's the most up to date assessment of how global warming will change the world in the coming decades. Environmental experts have called it a massive wake up call to government to cut emissions. 234 authors from 66 countries have worked on the landmark assessment. The report says global average temperature rise could reach or exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 20 years. Now that is 10 years sooner than expected. That temperature rise will breach the ambition of 2015 Paris Climate Agreement and bring widespread devastation and unpredicted extreme weather. This all comes less than 3 months before the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow in Scotland and vital talks that will determine the future course of efforts to tackle climate change. And the UK minister responsible for delivering COP26 has released this statement following the publication of today's report. He says, "Our message to every country, government, business, and part of society is simple. The next decade is decisive. Follow the science and embrace your responsibility to keep the goal of 1.5 degrees Celsius. Ice in the Arctic is melting faster than the scientists predicted. That leads to sea level rise, in which turn increases coastal flooding. The seas will keep rising for maybe thousands of years because the ocean deep has absorbed so much heat already. Political attitudes are changing. The UK is getting electrical cars. We need clean technology for home heating too." In the words of one leading scientist, "We are not doomed, but we want to avoid catastrophe. We have to drastically cut emissions now, decreasing the use of methane gas, nitrogen oxide, and so on, in order to decrease the climate change. And also, it will be a better way to our next generation, and we need to use fossil fuels instead of petrol and diesel, etc. And also, we need to reduce the usage of refrigerators from which fluorocarbon will emitted, and it leads to the depletion of ozone which covers our earth. It leads to the it is a very most reason for global warming. And this stage, if global warming increases, the glaciers at the Arctic and Antarctic poles will melt and the sea level will increases, and it leads to so many cyclones in the upcoming decades. So we need to, it's our responsibility to create a better nation and a better nature for our future generation.